Okay, in a previous lecture, we have seen the four-stroke cycle engine, and in that we have seen petrol engine and a diesel engine. There are four processes: induction process, compression process, power process, and the exhaust process. And these all four processes are carried out when four times this piston is going to move up and down. That's why it is known as a four-stroke cycle engine. Okay, in case of the petrol engine, air and fuel mixture will be taken inside. It will then when it will get taken inside, at that time it is known as the induction process or suction process. After that, that piston will move upward, and whatever the air and fuel mixture present over here, that will be compressed in the compression process. Then at the end of the compression process, the spark plug will induces a current in it, and huge explosion will takes place, or you can say ignition will takes place. And due to that, a very high pressure will be generated in this combustion chamber, and it will push this piston downward. That means it is generating the power. That's why it is a power stroke or power process. Then after that, whatever the burned gases are, they has to be sent outside so as to take the
फॉर्म
new fuel
काढणे दे
inside.
ऐकू दे मध्ये.
Okay, then the piston will move upward, and it allows the exhaust gas to go outside, and again the piston will move downward, and the same cycle will repeat. This is what is for four-stroke petrol engine. And when it is a diesel engine, instead of air and fuel mixture, only air will be taken inside. Okay, then it will be compressed in a compression process, and at the end of the compression process, instead of spark plug, it has a fuel injector will it which index sorry which um, induces the high pressurized fuel at the end of the compression. And when it will be induced in it, the temperature inside its combustion chamber reaches beyond auto ignition temperature, and automatically the ignition will start. And due to ignition, the force will be applied on this piston, and piston will move downward, and that is known as the power process. Again, the exhaust gas has to be sent outside so that the cycle can repeat again. That's why the piston will move upward, and burnt gases will be thrown outside. So this is what is the four-stroke diesel engine cycle. Okay, so here you can see a simple animation is shown over here. So you are supposed to observe it carefully. When the process number one is going on, this is quite fast. Okay, actual process is much more faster than this. Okay, so this is just to understand. So you can see here the blue color part. Okay, so this is a fresh charge, it is coming inside. Okay, and when it is moving upward, at that time it is compressing, and at the end of it, this spark plug is there, which is actually helping. In case of petrol engine, it is a spark plug. In case of the diesel engine, it is a fuel injector. So it will helps you to start the combustion process, and after that the burned gases will be thrown outside, which you can see here in the in brown color. Okay, so this is what is basically the four-stroke cycle. Now you can see here, these are the two valves you can see, and they are basically operated by using the cam arrangement. Okay, cam means what? This profile you can see, this is known as the cam. So this is actually operated based on this crankshaft position. Okay, so it is linked to this camshaft. Okay, through different linkages, different system is there again for that. Okay, and accordingly, what will happen when this cam reaches to this position? You can see when it is reaching to this protruding position, the valve is opening. Okay, so this is how basically valve can be operated. This is known as a overheaded cam. Sometimes this cam is at the base, so it is known as a downheaded cam. Okay, so this is the overheaded. Nowadays there are certain engines are there which are camless. Okay, in that basically instead of the cam, they are actually operated by using the sensors. So by sensing the position on this crankshaft, you can sense the position. Okay, that when this intake wall or and when this exhaust wall has to be open and closed, so accordingly they will be actually operated. Okay, then next one, hopefully you are not having any doubt till this. Yes, any doubt, or should I move forward?
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay, so the next one is the two-stroke petrol engine. Now, or two-stroke, let's say two-stroke engine. Okay, Difference, you know very well that in a petrol engine, diesel engine, that in a petrol engine you are having here a spark plug, and in case of diesel engine you are having a fuel injector. This is the only difference in the petrol engine and the diesel engine. Okay, construction wise. Detail wise, the material are also different, then the strength is different, compression ratios are also different. But just to understand the working, you must understand that in a petrol engine you are having the spark plug, while in the diesel engine you are having the um, fuel injector. Okay, now what we know very well that in a four-stroke cycle, for whole four process, the piston is going to move up and down four times. Okay, now here in a two-stroke process, for a single cycle, okay, to complete one cycle, piston will move only once up and down. Okay, एक ही बार, sorry, two times only up and down. एक बार ऊपर जाएगा, एक बार नीचे जाएगा. After that, the process will be completed. Okay, so likewise, you can see here for whole cycle, that means 1 to 4, this crank is moving twice. Okay, the crank is moving twice for to complete one complete cycle. Okay, while here you can see for one cycle it is rotating once only. Okay, so this is likewise, it is fast, this is very fast, only rotating once. Okay, फटाफट rotate होना start हो जाता है. Okay, now let's understand the construction, and then we will move to the working. Okay, now in a four stroke engines you have seen it is having a walls. Okay, inlet wall or suction wall and exhaust wall. Okay, for opening and closing of this passage. Okay, so but here in a two stroke engine it doesn't have the walls, it has ports only. Okay, ports, मतलब passage है, सिर्फ passage है. Okay, let's understand it from this animation. So it will be quite easy. So you can see only the passage is there. So this is the inlet passage, this is the exhaust passage, and this is the transport passage, transfer passage. Okay, so these passages are known as a port, that they do not have walls. Then how they are opening and closing? So you can see from this animation, just due to this piston motion. Okay, it is opening and closing. See, now this is open, and when it is coming downward, at that time piston is actually blocking it, that's why this is now closed. Likewise the other ports are also operating. Okay, so it doesn't require any valve, passages are open and closed based on the position of the piston. Okay, now let's see the working. What will happen first? The fresh charge. In case of petrol engine, it will be air and fuel mixture. In case of diesel engine, only air will be there. Okay, that fresh charge will be taken inside below the piston now. Okay, in four stroke only the upper side is there, which we are going to utilize, while in the two stroke engine the bottom side is also getting utilized. So the fresh charge will be taken inside below the piston. Then you can see here, when it is closing this, at that time this port is actually open, this port is open. When this is closing, this port is open. So when the piston is moving downward, okay, first it is moving upward, at that time it is taking the fresh charge inside it. Okay, but when the piston is moving downward, partial compression will take place. Okay, and with that, that fresh charge will be forced to pass through this transfer passage towards this upper side, towards this combustion chamber. Okay, now in the when it will reach to the combustion chamber, what will happen? The piston is actually moving upward, that means it will compresses that charge, and at the end of the compression, this spark plug induces a current in case of the petrol engine, or the fuel injector injects the fuel in case of the diesel engine. Okay, now once the combustion will be started over here, it will exert the heavy force on the piston, and piston will move downward. Okay, when it will move downward, after that, at the end of it, you will see that this exhaust port is now open. Okay, as well as this transfer port is also open. Okay, so the transfer port, okay, from this transfer port, whatever the fresh charge from the next cycle, okay, that is coming. Okay, that charge helps the exhaust or the burned gases from the previous cycle to escape out. ओके, सो ये जो है, ये बेसिकली यहाँ से आने वाला जो फ्रेश चार्ज है, वो इसको push करेगा. Okay, it will push the burned gases to pass it through this exhaust port, and this is how basically the whole cycle completes. So simultaneously you will observe that from the on the top side as well as on the bottom side, two cycles are going. Okay, when the piston is moving upward, at that time the suction process is going on this lower side. Okay, and at the same time when the piston is moving upward, on the top side is the compression process from the previous cycle. Okay, and when the piston is going downward, at that time partial compression and the transfer port is opening, and there will be a transfer of the charge toward the upper side. So partial compression is going on. Okay, right, as well as here on the top side, when the piston is moving downward, that means from the previous cycle power stroke is going on. Okay, and then again the same, that means what is going to happen, simultaneously two processes are going on above and below the piston. That's why basically what is going to happen over here, that piston has to move only once, sorry, only twice up and down per cycle. Okay, actually it is going to move four times again. Okay, पूरा four times ही move होने वाला है, but simultaneously दो processes है, दो cycles चल रही है, that's why it is divided into two. Okay, so 4 divided by 2 like a 2, so only twice it will move up and down per cycle. That's why it is known as a two stroke cycle. Got this? Any doubt? Yes, any doubt in this one?
मैम एक बार समराइज कर दो वो, मतलब थोड़ा सा.
Yes, sure. Okay, so what is going to happen? Let's say cycle number 1 is going on. Okay, cycle number 1, intake is going on when the piston is moving upward because suction will be created on the bottom side. Okay, then the piston will block this passage. That means suction is now over. Okay, and when it is moving downward, then and only then you can block this passage. But when it is moving downward, what will happen, a partial compression will take place and this transfer port is also open. So what will happen, the charge will be sent towards this upper side, and when the piston will move upward, at that time the fresh charge will be getting compressed over here. At the end of the compression on the upper side, the sparking will be there or fuel injection will be there, and then a huge explosion will take place and it will exert a force on this piston. Okay, and when the piston is moving downward, here power stroke is going on, while on the bottom side partial compression is going on. Okay, but and when it is moving downward, after that this exhaust port as well as transfer port both will open, and the fresh charge from the next cycle helps to escape out this exhaust gas through this exhaust port, and then again the cycle will repeat. So that is what is going to happen in the two stroke cycle engine. Okay,
समझा समझा.
ठीक है. Okay, so this is what is about the two stroke cycle engine. Now let's see the differences. There are basically different parameters which helps you to compare the SI engine and CI engine. SI engine means what? Petrol engine, spark ignition engine. CI engine means what? Diesel engine or compression ignition engine. Okay, so SI engine uses the thermodynamic cycle, that is Otto cycle, which is also known as a constant volume cycle. Okay, while CI engine uses the diesel cycle or dual cycle, that means it is a constant pressure process cycle or the combination of constant volume and a constant pressure cycle, that is a dual cycle. Okay, then fuel used, SI engine uses the petrol engine or gaseous because they are less viscous in nature, while CI engine uses the diesel oil or biodiesels because they are cheaper, or you can say they are viscous in nature. Okay, the next one, fuel supply, it requires the carburetor. We have seen that we in the petrol cycle, air and fuel mixture has to be done, has to be prepared earlier before providing it into the engine, right? For that, carburetor is provided over there. While here in a CI engine, fuel injector will be required. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute, please. Okay, so next one you can see compression ratio. Now in a SI engine, the compression ratio is around 6 to 10, and in a CI engine, the compression ratio is about 12 to 22. Now what is meant by compression ratio? See, initially whatever the fresh charge which is coming inside, it will be having the atmospheric pressure. But after compression, that means you are going to increase the pressure of it, right? So in the SI engine, you can raise the pressure up to only 6 to 10 times the original one. Okay, while in the CI engine, you need to provide the pressure. You need to raise the pressure by 12 to 22. Otherwise, the ignition will not start. And again, in SI engine, it is not possible to raise the pressure beyond this 10 compression ratio. Why? Because if you raise it beyond this, what will happen? Automatically the burning will start before a requirement. Okay, because see what is going to happen. Diesel is having around auto ignition temperature something 240. Okay, while the petrol, it is having something 280. The difference is not very high. Okay, so it will be definitely good that auto, if you can do the auto ignition, because the whatever the power required for that spark plug is, it will not be required in that case, right? But if you are using it in the petrol engine, like that if you are raising the pressure very high, what will happen? Before the power stroke, it will start burning, and that means there will be a complete combustion will take place before the requirement. So that's why it is not advisable to go beyond that. Okay, and that is the reason why the compression ratio in case of the diesel engine is more than the your petrol engine. Okay, then next one is the combustion or the ignition of the charge. Okay, so as its name is, that means in a SI engine, there is a spark ignition system. Okay, that means you need a spark plug for the combustion process. While in CI engine, you will need the high compression to start the ignition process. Okay, then next one is thermal efficiency. Now, the thermal efficiency in case of the petrol engine, it is very low as compared to the diesel engine. It is around 25%, while in the diesel engine, it is around 40%. So, double का difference आप देख सकते हो. Okay. Then next one is the weight. So, petrol engines or SI engines, they are preferred for light duty vehicles. Okay, and diesel engines are used for the heavy duty vehicles. So you might have seen that whichever your racing cars are, racing vehicles are, or your bikes are, they are light duty vehicle. Load carrying capacity is less for those. Okay, and that's why they are using the petrol engine, while the diesel engine it will have the capacity to take the heavy load, but with the low speed. So that's why in a trucks, tractors, buses, they are using the diesel engine or CI engines. Okay. Then next one is, yes, just we spoke about the speed, right? So petrol engines, for they are preferred for the high speed. So whichever your racing cars are, racing vehicles are, or even your mopeds or bikes, they actually the what you can say. The requirement from the customer is the speed over there. Okay, very not very high speed, but still comparatively, the speed requirement is more over there. Okay, so that's why they prefer to use the SI engines, right? And in case of the trucks, buses, in that cases the load carrying capacity should be more, and that is why the diesel engines are preferred over there, and those engines, they are having the low speed. Okay, So low speed engines are there. They are having around 400 rpm, medium speed 400 to 1200, and high speed maximum to maximum 350, not more than that. Okay. Then next one, in a SI engine, the noise and vibration is less compared to the CI engine. Then pollution. If you see the constituent of the petrol and the diesel is quite more impure, as well as the whatever the burnt composition are there after burning the diesel, they are harmful as compared to the petrol. So that's why pollution cost can be more in that case. Then the next one is a cost. So SI engine, its cost is quite less. Okay. Initial cost is less, but maintenance cost is high because you need to supply the petrol, because petrol is a costlier as compared to the diesel. Okay. While in the diesel engine, while in the diesel engine, initial cost is high because it has to deal with a very high pressure, right? As well as it should have heavy load carrying capacity, right? So in that case, it should have whatever the material which you are using for that petrol engine, or sorry, for that diesel engine, it will be definitely costly. Okay, so that's why you can see the cost for the diesel engine, initial cost, it will be higher. Okay. Then application, we have already discussed that petrol engines are used for moped, cars, or light duty vehicles, and CI engines are used for heavy duty vehicles, truck, tractors, or locomotives, or your Volvo buses sometimes. Okay. So these are the basically what you can say application. Beyond this, also I have listed down certain different some certain other parameters, so you can go through that also. Okay. So these are the additional one. Some are repeated. Just a minute. Now we have completed our IC engine. Now the next part is the steam generator. Okay. Now can anybody please tell me, have you seen the steam generator in your house? Have you
In
seen?
society, ma'am.
No,
Yes.
In society.
In society. Okay.
not seen, man.
Anyone? Anyone else?
No, ma'am.
घर में नहीं देखा है?
No, ma'am.
किसी ने नहीं देखा है? मैं अगर अभी नाम बता दिया तो you will say yes, it is a steam generator.
घर में पानी
देखा है
गर्म
पानी
करते
उबल
तो
कुकर में बनता
स्टीम
है।
जनरेटर।
प्रेशर कुकर में भी
Pressure cooker, it is a steam generator.
हाँ देखा है
Pure
मैम।
the steam.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
सबने देखा है, सबने देखा है
वो तो
ना?
देखा है।
Right. So see, now it is also a steam generator. Of course, the whatever the steam you are producing over there, the utilization of the steam can be different. Okay. कहीं पे कुकिंग के लिए यूज होता है, somewhere you are using it to generate the power, somewhere you are using it for sterilization purpose, somewhere you are using it for heat exchanging process, likewise. Okay, but the purpose of that particular device is to produce the steam, right? So that is what is known as the steam generator. Okay, so now it is also known as a boiler.
हाँ मैम बॉयलर भी बोलते हैं।
It is also known as a boiler. Now दो मिनट रुको, दूसरी चीजें बीच में आ जाती है। I'm extremely sorry. Okay, so now what is boiler means? Okay, so boiler, it is defined as a closed metallic vessel, okay, in which the water is heated beyond the boiling state by the application of heat liberated by combustion of the fuel to convert it into the steam. So basic motto of the boiler is to convert the water into the steam. Okay, so this is what is known as the basically a boiler. Now the function, what is the function of it? Okay, so the function you can see here, basically it is to supply a steam at a required constant pressure with its quality as a dry, okay, either dry or near as dry or superheated. Now what is meant by dry? Okay, see, do you know latent heat? Yes, anybody, do you know latent heat, sensible heat?
हाँ सुना है.
What is it then?
लैटिनेट के
Tell
बारे में
me.
सुना.
To change the state,
State of fission ना.
latent is the heat to change the state
Latent heat
without
is
When
used to
heating
change
without
the
the
changing
state.
the
temperature.
temperature of it.
Yes, latent heat is the heat required to change the phase without changing the temperature. Okay. Okay. Now another thing is the sensible heat. What is sensible heat? Yes, what is sensible heat is? What is the sensible heat?
It exchange by body.
Hmm?
Exchange by body or thermodynamic system.
Mm,
Which we
anything
feel.
else? Anything else? It is the heat required to raise the temperature without changing the phase. Okay. So now, see here, I have drawn a graph of temperature versus the enthalpy, or you can say heat. Okay. Let's say you are having a water. You have a vessel, closed vessel is there, and there is a water inside it, and the water is now let's say it has reached to 100 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now when it has reached to 100 degrees Celsius, mm, will the water will completely get converted into the steam suddenly?
No.
No, it will take some time. It will need more amount of the heat to convert it into the steam, and the temperature will also remain constant, right? So that means this, let's say this is the that part, that means let's say this is the 100 degree Celsius line. Okay, this is 100 degrees Celsius line. Now here temperature is remaining constant. This is the saturation curve. This is the saturation curve. Okay, so here it is in a liquid form, completely liquid form. And this is the point where there will be a complete conversion into the steam, into the gaseous form. And under the curve is the liquid plus gas. Liquid plus gas. Okay, that means here it will be taking the latent heat. Now when that water which has been completely converted into the steam, that means it has reached to this point, that is the saturated one. Okay, that is the saturated steam. And if you supply the heat beyond that, that means it will follow this type of curve, and this zone will be the superheated zone. Okay, when it will goes into this zone beyond this saturated steam, that steam is known as a dry steam. Dry means what? Now there will be no content of the liquid. Okay, there will be no content of the liquid. So from the boiler it is always expected that it should supply the steam which is at a constant pressure and with the quality as either dry, near to the dry. That means the moisture may be allowed to, let's say, 0.002% only. Okay, and or superheated, that means you can ensure that you are, whichever the steam you are supplying, it will be completely in a dry state. Did you understood what mean by dry is? Did you understood
Can
dry
you
means?
explain again
Okay.
that graph?
Okay. You are boiling the water. Okay. You are boiling the water. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
boiling will start at 100 degree Celsius. Okay. But 100
Yes.
degree Celsius पे water जो है boil होना start होता है. Okay, suddenly that water will not get converted into the liquid form. It will require more amount of the heat to convert into the gaseous form, that means into the steam form. So whatever this heat which is under the curve, that is the latent heat. Okay, and in this under this curve, the state of your steam, it is the moist steam. That means it partially contains the liquid form also. Okay, gas to hai, steam to hai, but it contains the liquid form also. And when it reaches to this saturated curve, beyond this the temperature will increases when you are supplying more amount of the heat to it, and there will be, you can ensure that there will be no content of the liquid. It will be completely gaseous state. ओके, लिक्विड अगर है तो उसको मॉइस्ट बोलेंगे. ओके, लिक्विड नहीं है देन इट इज अ ड्राई. डिड यू अंडरस्टूड दिस? ड्राई मतलब क्या?
Yes.
ओके, सो इन दिस जोन इट इज अ सुपर हीटेड जोन. ओके, ये जो बाहर का इस साइड का जोन है दैट इज अ सुपर हीटेड जोन. हियर इट इज अ this line is a saturated. Okay, this line is a saturated and this is a wet region. Okay, this is a wet region. So always it is expected that whatever the steam you are supplying, it has to be dry, because if it will be moist. Let's say if it is moist, so what will happen when you are supplying it into the turbine? Okay, what will happen, that moisture will get accumulated somewhere on the turbine blades and your turbine blade will start contaminating. Okay, उसका जो corrosion है, erosion है, वो start हो जाएगा. So that's why it is avoided to send the moist steam. So that's why it is always supplied at a superheated zone. Okay, superheated steam always supplied, so that you can ensure that throughout the turbine there will be not be any condensation takes place inside the turbine. Okay, so this is what is about the boiler. Any doubt in this?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Now classification. Okay. Classification now according to the axis of the shell. So in what manner your boiler is mounted? Okay. If it is horizontally placed, then it is a horizontal boiler. If it is a vertically placed, लंबा लंबा सा pipe में पड़ा हुआ है, then it is a vertical boiler. Okay. Sorry, मैंने उल्टा बताया. I'm so sorry. If it is a pipe and let's say it is placed like a horizontal manner, in a horizontal manner, it is a horizontal boiler. Okay, if it is placed in a vertical manner, it is a vertical boiler. If it is placed in an inclined manner, it is an inclined boiler. Okay, your pressure cooker, it is a vertical boiler, vertical side direction में placed होता है इसलिए. ठीक है. Then next one, so this is based on the axis of the shell. Shell means what? A cylinder. Okay, then next one is a according to the application, where and how it is utilized. Okay, that means if the boiler, if it is stationary, if you can't move it, if it is fixed at certain place, then it is a stationary boiler. Some boilers are there which are mobile, that means you can use it, you can move it wherever required, so that is known as a mobile boiler. Then next one is according to the location of the furnace. That means where the furnace, where the fire is going to take place inside in the boiler. अगर boiler के अंदर है, then it is internally fired boiler. Boiler के बाहर के side में furnace है और बाद में जो burned gases है वो अंदर आ रहे, then it is the externally fired boiler. Okay. Then next one is the according to the type of the fuel. So here you can see this is the externally fired boiler. फर्नेस बाहर है एंड देन बाद में अंदर आपके फ्यूम्स आ रहे हैं. ठीक है, दिस इज द इंटरनली फायर्ड बॉयलर. अंदर ही फर्नेस है और यहाँ से अंदर मतलब पूरे शेल के अंदर ही आपका जो है फ्लू गैसेस पास हो रहे हैं. डिड यू अंडरस्टूड दिस? Internally fired and externally fired. Hopefully yes. Okay, next one is according to the type of fuels. fuel used. Okay, which type of fuel is used? Solid fuel अगर है मतलब coal है, wood है, then it is a solid fuel. Liquid fuel like oils are there. Gaseous fuel जो बायोगैस है उसको यूज कर सकते हो, या CNG है, LPG है, so that is a gaseous fuel. Okay, the next one is according to the method of a circulation of water, how the water is circulated inside that boiler. Natural circulation is there, forced circulation is there. Natural circulation basically it depends on the density difference. See, hotter water is having the light density, less density, while cold water is having the high density, right? So if depending on the density, if the motion of the water is there, so in that case it is a natural circulation boiler. Okay, and let's say forced boiler is forced circulation means what? A pump is used for circulation of the water. Natural circulation के लिए example अगर हम मुझे बताना है आपको, तो let's say in the morning time you are using a hot water for or warm water for bathing, right? So let's take a mug of very cold water, and if you uh, allow that water to or you can say you if you throw that water inside that bucket, you will observe that that colder fuel, okay, colder fluid, okay, it directly goes at the bottom. Why? Because it is heavier than that warm water. Okay, you can do that at your home also. You can take a glass of water, okay, transparent glass, and water in it. Make sure that water is warmer one or hotter one, and then you can take the another small glass, and color the water inside it, and that water should be the colder one. If you mix those, you will find that if you allow that cold water to if you put that cold water inside that warm water or hotter water, you will find that that water will goes at the bottom level. Okay, why? Because of the density. Okay, so that is the concept basically used here in the natural circulation. Forced circulation, simply pump is used. Then next one is according to the flow of water and the flue gases. That means fire tube boiler and water tube boiler. If the fire is there which is going from the tube, then it is a fire tube boiler. If water is flowing through the tube, then it is a water tube boiler. Okay, so in short you can see here, this is the fire tube boiler because fire is inside the tubes. Okay, while here you can see water is inside the tube, so it is a water tube boiler. Did you understood? Did you understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So you can see here now, let's see the differences between that. इसमें भी वही दिया हुआ है, मैं सिर्फ आपको differences बताऊंगी. Okay, so you can see this is the water tube boiler. So furnace is there, and whatever the burnt gases are, flue gases are, they will be flowing over this water tube, and the water will take that heat, and then this it will convert it into steam, and then it will go outside. Whatever the burnt gases are, after that remaining burnt gases are, they will be thrown outside through the chimney. Okay, so this is what is known as the water tube boiler, while this is the fire tube boiler. In the fire tube boilers there is a furnace, and from the furnace the fire or the flue gases, they will pass through the tube. Okay, and this tube, they are surrounded by the water directly. Okay, and then at the top of the tank of that water, the steam will be collected, and then it will be sent wherever required. And the flue gases which are now waste, or the what you can say remaining flue gases, they will be sent into the atmosphere through the chimney. So this is what is the fire tube boiler. Okay, so let's see a few examples. Fire tube boilers means this one, Cochrane boiler is there, Cornish boiler is there, and Lancashire boiler is there. Okay, they are the fire tube boiler. So this you can say this is the horizontal type of boiler. Cornish boiler is a horizontal type. Cochrane boiler is a vertical type of boiler. Lancashire is also a horizontal type of boiler. Okay, then water tube boiler. So you can see Babcock Wilcox boiler is a horizontal boiler, and it is a water tube boiler. So this is one of the example. Okay, ये अलग अलग टाइप्स है, बॉयलर्स के अलग अलग टाइप्स है. अगेन no one is going to ask you about this, but these are the example of the boilers. Okay, then yes, Stirling boiler is also one of the water tube boiler. Okay, so I think we should stop here for today. In the next lecture, we will see the comparison between the boilers and few characteristic and boiler mounting and accessories. Okay.
हाँ मैम MCQ मतलब क्वेश्चन भेजो ना MCQ के लिए